know about you, but when I go to somebody's house and they say, bring something, oh, I gotta go big. I mean, I gotta bring something great. And when I'm thinking about bringing like a cold cut platter, well, I'm not gonna go to the deli and just say, well, give me a little of this and a little of that when I can make it. What would be the star of a meat platter? Pastrami. Call your mommy, we're about to make pastrami. So, when I say that we're making pastrami, I know, a little bit of a daunting task. But that's why I want to show you this, because this is simple, this is easy, this is straightforward, and you can do this. So we're starting off with a little bit of boiling water right here. We're gonna make the brine. What this really is we're gonna brine this pastrami, nice piece of brisket here. We're gonna brine it about 5 days, could go to 10. Then we're gonna take it out, we're gonna dry rub it, and then we're gonna smoke it. Boom, boom, boom. I've always got a pastrami in some shape or form ready to go. When you make it yourself and you have a chance to kind of work these ingredients the way you want, oh, you are gonna flip out. So let's get started, super simple. Some simmering water, brown sugar, kosher salt, cinnamon sticks. Could never say that as a kid. Pink curing salt. This is gonna give you some of that really nice color that you want. It's also gonna work in part of the curing process. It's pretty easy to find these days. Go online if you can't, and you can have it shipped to you. But a little bit of the curing salt, mustard seed, star anise. And again, where you wanna take this, if you wanna punch it up, a little more star anise, your call. Exactly 2 cloves. Chili flake, a little fennel, some coriander, a little bay leaf, a lot of bay leaf, okay? And some juniper berry. Now, the juniper berry, just kind of crushed it by hand a little bit to kind of open it up. And when I talk about, here, you want to smell? Oh, you can't smell. But when I talk about the real essence, the real flavor, the real beginning, this is what it is. All of these are gonna sit inside of here, something to stir it with, and just steep for about a half an hour. Okay, now let's talk about the brisket. Boy, is this the barbecue machine right here. Tons of fat, tons of meat, all connected and cooked the right way, out of bounds. Some of the best you'll find. So we're gonna trim off some of this fat. I don't wanna have too much, and I wanna get to my meat. The thing I love to do with this fat, though, this big white fat, is to take it and render it down. And you wanna talk about awesome when you're making some fries. And there's a ton of fat on this. Nice sharp knife goes a long way. Take your time. Now, this stuff right here will work as a barrier between the brine getting in there. After I've sat here and cut this much on it, it's good to grab the steel. Just gotta make sure that you have the fat off there. If there's fat on the knife or fat on the steel, it just works as a lubricant and doesn't sharpen it. There's a big fat vein that runs here between the 2 sides of this, the point and the flat. Now, this is great when we're doing low and slow brisket for barbecue, but that big piece of fat right there was just gonna sit there and get in the way of us getting this thing brined and smoked and cured for sandwich meat or for a deli platter. The more meat that comes off on the fat, the less pastrami you get. Don't look at that part. All right, not as intimidating as it was at the beginning. If you go to your butcher and you say, can you do me a favor, can you trim that down? Because I'm gonna make pastrami, he's gonna charge you for this fat. It'd be nice if he'd make you some burger out of it too, but anyhow, you get the idea. So, steeping liquid, I mean, you gotta see this. Take a look at that. Just everybody in the pool. And what I'm gonna do now is add ice and cool it down. Make that ice measurement the right measurement so you don't dilute it too much. The more you dilute it, the longer it's gonna take for this thing to brine. Definitely not hot at this point. Bring over a big hotel pan. So we're gonna drop the brisket in, pour in the brine, making sure that it's submerged. This is gonna give you the color, it's It's gonna give you the sugar, the salt, all the flavors you're looking for in the pastrami. You are gonna love this. You are gonna be the hero. You're gonna show up with this and they're gonna ask you to come to every party, okay? Can you believe it's been 5 to 10 days? Yeah, right. I had an extra one going. Take a look at this. We've always got some pastrami rolling at the Fieri compound. Look at that bad boy. You can't see it yet. But check this out. Yes, it took a little bit of time to get this thing rolling, but it's been down for 5, 7 days. Really some beautiful color. We're gonna bring it out. Yo! There we go, a little bit down the arm. Some bay leaves. See a little bit of the juniper there, a bunch of the mustard, and it is ready to rock. So, now we'll bring up the paper towels. We're gonna let this drain here a little bit. We want it to be tacky, not wet, because we want this to, want all this dry rub that we're gonna make here in a second, we want to stick to it. You get a couple of these going. I mean, when you get into the process of doing this and you're gonna go and have them in the cooler or rest them in the fridge, I'm gonna tell you something, do 2 or 3. These freeze awesome. They're great gifts. And just like my same theory of when you're buying prosciutto, always buy an extra pound because you know somebody's gonna be picking at it. All right, so we'll let this rest. Let's get into the dry rub. Again, super, super simple. Juniper berries, throw those right in. Good spice grinder is always nice to have. A lot of black peppercorn. Okay, let me let these 2 run for a second. Fantastic. A little bit bigger, some bigger particles to it. More black peppercorn. Bunch of coriander. This we're gonna break down a little bit further. You can kind of hear it change its tone. Excellent. Go in there. A little chili flake. Brown sugar. Granulated garlic. A bunch of salt. And I need a bigger bowl. You should smell this spice warehouse right now. I mean, this is it right here. A little bit tacky, so this is gonna stick to it great. That's why I said make a few of these at the same time. You got the smoker going. You've gone to this trouble to get these great fresh spices. This is not the time that you use the old juniper berries that you had in there since the last time you made pastrami. Always go buy fresh spices. So we mix this evenly, black peppercorn. The juniper you can smell, amazing. Now we're gonna get this salt, brown sugar mixture on. Giving us a chance to coat on, kind of pressing it in with your hands. See how I'm just really nicely rubbing it and applying it. Now, when I go ahead and flip this over, of course, a bunch of it's gonna fall off, but for the time being, I'm getting it all on there. And if we could let this sit for a little bit, it's even gonna be better. Let this dry rub go, I mean, even up to a day, if you've got the time. It's, again, in that same principle. You got 5 days to brine it at least, but if you can go 10, if you can go 2 weeks, you're my hero, okay? I'm catching it all. You see how I left this, the cookie racks on there? It only gets better with time, folks. So if you can let it go uncovered for a day, a couple days in the fridge with the dry rub, fantastic. I'm gonna take this right to the smoker. Any kind of smoker you got. You could be a smoker that you built, it could be a pellet smoker, whatever you might have, but I'm gonna tell you what, give it the time, don't rush it. Get down into that 220, 225 temperature zone, and then it's just gonna blow your mind. My boys at Camp Chef hooking it up. We're running that with a little hickory and a little cherry. 8 hours, we're gonna be money. That's what I'm talking about. Look at this. Look at this. You could see all that dry rub that's on there. Now, my favorite deli, I gotta be honest with you, one of my all-time favorites is Katz's Deli. But we don't have Katz's out here in Cali, so I gotta kind of do my own work. But I wanna just show you some beautiful house-cured pastrami. Oh. Now, I had to get an angle on that to cut it. I'd let this cool down a little bit, but I want to show you right here, cooking this at home. Look at that. Tender. The right amount of pepper, and I like a lot of pepper. The right amount of the juniper, a little kiss of the sugar, a little heat from that chili, a little mushroom, a little setup like this. And I'll show you a cool thing to do when you take the pastrami if you're having a hard time with it, is go ahead and cut it like this. Then you just get a little bit easier knife glide when you're only working with a smaller piece, okay? A little bit easier to cut. But ladies and gentlemen, call your mommy. We just made pastrami. You're gonna love this recipe. Tell me what you think. See you next week. Happy holidays and welcome to the Big Bite Kitchen, hanging out with my buddy G. Garvin. Now listen, we're gonna recreate the scene of a crime. See, it was a long time ago that G and I cooked a meal right here that we talk about every time we see each other. Remember when we did that? Remember how great that was? So we thought for the holidays, it's time to make it for you. So here's what we got for you, starting off with the short ribs. Cooked until tender, and then finished on the grill with a red wine barbecue glaze. So G has already gotten started. So he's working on the mirepoix that's gonna go into this pressure cooker that we're gonna make these short ribs with. So we had just come back from shooting Guy's Grocery Games, which G's a judge on. We come back and I said, hey, G, look at these beautiful short ribs. And he goes, those are great. Are we making them tomorrow? I said, no, we're going to make them tonight. And G said, what time do you plan on eating? 2 in the morning? I mean, because normally short ribs are going to take you 4 hours to...
At least. But the way he did the short ribs in the pressure cooker was through the roof.
Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. So G's working on the mirepoix. I've got some beautiful short ribs bone in. You know, anytime you can get the bone in, that's where you're gonna get the big flavor. I've got a cast iron skillet going because I really wanna put a hot sear on these. And also I wanna make sure that you can see what's going on. But G's gonna be dropping the mirepoix in here and getting that started. So G, I've got that preheated for you.
Okay, awesome.
You're working the mirepoix, a little olive oil right there. I've got the short ribs, a little salt and pepper. Let me borrow that for a second, thanks. I'm gonna put down a bit of oil.
Awesome.
G, some oil in there for you.
Thank you, brother.
Seasoned on this side. I'm gonna roll them. Season the other side. Look at that. Tell me those aren't gorgeous. This is really what you wanna ask your butcher to bring in for you. Holiday season, you could do a bunch of these, sear them off ahead of time, get them into a big pressure cooker. You don't have that, you can roast them off in the oven. Pressure cooker just kinda expedites things. So here we go. We're gonna go fat side down, start that rendering. Go, so you can see what's going on. This is kind of like beef short rib Tetris.
Yeah, this is like short rib palooza.
There you go. If I was much higher on the sides, like if I was in there, you wouldn't be able to sear the short ribs. They'd start to steam each other. But because this is low, this is cast iron, it's smoking hot, it'll work. Okay, G.
Yes.
So you look at the cut that he put on that. These could be big pieces if you wanted, but this is gonna cook down even faster. He'll drop a little salt in that and kind of start to sweat those. Yeah. Look at that nice crust that we're building right there. Rendering that fat down. So now it's cooking in its own fat. So drop the short ribs in, making sure everybody's got a space. A little drip of oil just caught me right on the flip-flop. Love cooking in flip-flops. Okay, we'll drop this all down. Now, believe it or not, we're gonna be using this stock out of the pressure cooker later, so I'm even gonna dump this in. Okay, this is where things are gonna get a little wild. Take a little red wine, deglaze this pan. Watch out.
3 cups right
Deglaze
there.
a little bit of that. I'll pour the rest. How much wine do you think I should put in this?
Let's go
There
hard.
you go. Yeah, it's a whole bottle. Okay, it is the holidays. Okay, so there's a bottle of red wine in there, and again, really good red wine. Deglazing the bottom of this. I could have cooked all this in the pressure cooker, but there wasn't enough room. And also the pressure cooker, although it's thick, isn't as thick as this cast iron. You really want to build crust, you go to this hot cast iron because it's not gonna, once it gets cold, once you drop those in, it's not gonna cool down to where it kinda sears the other side. It just keeps hammering it the whole time. Okay, now we go in with the deglazed pan. Okay, all right, spin that around. Now this is the part, G, that gets everybody confused.
Okay.
Is they say, and I'm gonna show it so everybody can see what's going on. So you see right here where it says caution. We're gonna run it, and you'll see that it starts to build the steam, If it goes too high, yes, it will start to release on itself through this valve. But don't worry about that. You'll be able to get it. Right around medium is where I keep it. This is gonna run for about 45 minutes. Okay?
Wow.
Crazy.
Dude,
All
I'm
right.
still crazy about it. I mean, like short ribs is like 3.5, 4 hours.
And listen, when you can get short ribs on a weekday night, not even when it's the holidays, when you can get it on a weekday night, you're winning. Grab that brown sugar, would you? Okay, a little red chili flake with some barbecue sauce. See that? Little red wine vinegar. And what I'm putting together here, G, this is coming together to make the barbecue sauce that we're gonna baste on. It's gonna be a really light barbecue sauce, but the kicker here is just like we did that night, that famous night, is I'm gonna take that stock, we're gonna strain it, we're gonna mix it into the barbecue sauce, and that's what we're gonna baste with that vinegar on there. Come on. Little brown sugar, red wine vinegar.
Yep.
Boy, I need a cold one. This is going good, huh? Thank you, my friend. And how about a little hot sauce? How hot we wanna take this?
Let's take it a whole nother level. Hot is good.
I shouldn't ask this guy how hot
listen,
this is. Just give me like 2 tablespoons.
Okay, all right.
I mean, we got the kids, Hunter and Ryder, go. That's good. All right, very nice. This is gonna get loud for a second, okay? Just hang tight with me and just think some happy thoughts. Ready? Here we go.
That's the sound of goodness.
We're releasing the steam. We'll give it some little help here. We let the pressure out, open it up. It's always scary opening, and I agree. But when you see 0 pressure, you know there's no pressure in it. Then we're gonna pull the short ribs out, G, let them cool so they tighten back up, they kind of congeal. We'll take the liquid, we'll strain that out, and then later we'll throw them on the grill and baste them with the sauce. But we gotta make sure that we remember to get this liquid out of the pressure cooker because that's gonna go in the barbecue sauce. Here we go.
Banana.
Now, I keep the hand right on it. Here we go. Wow. We are in good shape with this, buddy. We are in good shape with this. Excuse me a second. There we go. Pull these short ribs out, and they are just barely holding together. I still want that rib. That's part of the presentation. Remember, I've got the sage and the thyme in there, and all the awesome flavor cooked down for about 45 minutes. So there's a bottle of red wine, a little chicken stock, and the flavor that's going on is crazy. Let me throw this over here. All right, I'm gonna let the ribs cool down. I have made a reduction of the sauce that came out of the pressure cooker where I did these short ribs in literally, what, 45 minutes? Ooh. A lot of red wine, all that great flavor, and I reduced it just a little bit, mixed it into the barbecue sauce and brown sugar, a little red wine vinegar, and a little bit of chili flake, and this is gonna go to baste these ribs. Now, the ribs have had a chance to cool down, and we've got, tons of flavor inside of them, and they're almost falling off the bone. So let me throw these down and hit them with a little baste. Can you smell it, G?
I do, man. I can't wait.
Just let this glaze up. Here we go, and we are hot right now, man.
Dude, this polenta right now is screaming.
If you want to do this, G, we can get that for the bowl for the salad.
Okay.
So we flip these again, nice little sear on them. There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, man.
Okay, one more quick glaze of this. And this is really throwing that barbecue attitude to this right here in the holidays.
Dude, I remember when you made those that night, I literally went home and dreamt about short ribs for a week.
That's it. We start grabbing some ribs, laying it down.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of that thyme, a little flavor of that sage. I know, I'm with you.
When you talk
I'm
about
with
a
it.
holiday meal, short ribs, polenta, pecorino cheese, kale salad.
I need a little bit of polenta right there. I'm gonna land the last one. See that? Now this is how you do it. You check this and make sure that that is just pull apart tender. This is what we're looking for. That dipped in a little bit of the polenta. Dude, I'll cook with you any day.
My man,
You look at that.
let me tell you something. It's a whole nother level.
You ever notice how certain foods have been kind of like typecast? You know, like breakfast. You know, and don't get me wrong, I'm a breakfast fan, but it's like breakfast. It gets stuck in this rut. And I know people like pancakes and waffles for dinner, but me, I'm going to reintroduce some real great breakfast staples into lunch and dinner. Starting off with my skirt steak hash. I coat skirt steak in a bold chili espresso rub. Grill until it's perfectly tender, then slice it up on a bias and serve over a hash of potatoes, sweet peppers, onions, and asparagus. I love skirt steak. Everybody, I know, you love skirt steak because you love it for Mexican food, but trust me, skirt steak has so many applications. Now, to make a skirt steak hash, why would I do it? Take this beautiful piece of meat, because texture and the fat is flavor. We're gonna grill this, which you typically don't see a lot of times in breakfast. So you're gonna take a breakfast item, put grill to it now, huge flavor. So letting this set out for a little room temperature setup, and let's get some dry rub going. Let's talk about the dry rub. What is it like? Of course, fresh cracked black pepper. We'll get a little bit of onion powder. You can make your own dry rub that you like. Mustard powder, like a little bit of that tang there. Some chili powder. Now this you could go real far with, but I don't want it to take the lead role. I just want it to play along nice with others. And a little granulated garlic. A little dried oregano. Brown sugar. Of course, that's nice on it. And a little instant espresso. Now this is the real key. You think coffee and beef? Absolutely. And last thing is some salt. Pinch more. Give it a little stir. Liberally sprinkle this across. Give it a flip. There we go. Okay. So, there we go. Well, that's it. Wash up real quick. Everybody has a favorite steak. I'm a huge fan of skirt steak. You gotta cook it hot and fast. Get that grill as hot as you can. Sear it off. When I flip them, when I go to move them, I'm gonna move them to the other side of the grill. And the reason that I wanna move them to the other side of the grill is because it's gonna cool down a little bit. So when you're flipping the steak, don't put it in the exact same spot it was. But they also need somebody to support them on the grill, and that's asparagus. I don't know if you're an asparagus fan. I had somebody make canned asparagus the other day. Very scary. Let's talk about asparagus. It's a shame to see somebody look at the asparagus and say, well, you see how it's all green right here? That must be where we're gonna use it. So then they go and they run a knife right through the middle of it. Well, asparagus can be really expensive, and you also don't wanna waste. So here's a great little tip. Grab the asparagus, kind of give it a little bend, see where it's going. Wait for it, wait for it. There you go. That's where we want it to go. Now we'll take it. I'm boiling butter at this point. Actually, that's enough. Don't need to go any further. Okay, so now you can kind of measure up where it was. Bring that rubber band back, right through. And this is awesome for the compost, except for the rubber band. I'll just leave it there until I get done. Okay, so we've got the beautiful asparagus. Sheet tray. These could also go in the oven. A little bit of olive oil. But since I have the grill rolling, why not do it? There's something about that char. Sprinkle some salt and pepper. Okay, flip that over. Now the asparagus onto the grill. That's a whole nother challenge. See those little grates? My asparagus just love to go hunting down there, and then I'm having to dig them out. So take your time to lay them out and turn them gingerly. Ow. That's really hot. See that one right there? That one wants to go south on me. I've grilled the skirt steak that I hit with a nice dry rub. Now I've got some Yukon Golds, the red onion, nice cast iron skillet, put some nice crust on the outside, letting the potatoes stay tender. Look at that. And now with some red bell pepper and some green bell pepper. So look at that. Nice peppers and onions. Huh? Mmm. Not breakfast skirt steak. This is skirt steak hash for dinner. Uh-huh. That's what I'm talking about. So I got some beautiful hash in here. Lay that skirt steak on top. Mmm. Awesome, and it's all for dinner. Some grilled asparagus that also get mixed into this. Fantastic. A little olive oil, salt, and pepper. Okay, let's look at this. Red bell pepper, green bell pepper, the asparagus, the garlic, the onions, all of that. Now we'll grab some of the skirt steak that has the nice marinade on it, or the nice dry rub that I put there. We'll get some avocado on top of that. Little green onion. Now, we talked about elevating the flavor. The roasted red bell pepper hollandaise, look at this when it goes right on. So made a hollandaise with the butter, the egg yolks, a little touch of the cayenne, and then took the roasted red bell pepper that I did in the wood-fired oven, pureed that into it, so you have this beautiful hollandaise. So we're talking elevated hollandaise. You get this, you put it all together. So look at that. That is breakfast taken to the dinner table. I get a little taste of this. Here we go. Fantastic. That's what you get. You get this elevated fruit salad, the whipped cream, the roasted pound cake, has a little bit of butter on it.
Thank you, Dad.
Bacon wrapped tenderloin roast. What I got is some plastic wrap out there. There's the tenderloin, and here's some bacon. You take that, start laying the bacon down. I'm gonna go over here and season the tenderloin. A little kosher salt. By the way, I've never got the story. How did you pick Ferndale?
I don't remember.
That's compelling TV.
Yeah.
All right, little cracked black pepper, some kosher salt on this beautiful tenderloin. The great thing about the tenderloin is the yield is huge. Besides taking off a little bit of fat, Dad, or a little bit of silver skin, this thing's ready to rock and roll. Now, what we're gonna do with it is it's rolled around in the salt and pepper. Now, check this out, Dad. I'm gonna drop this right in here. There's not a lot of fat in the tenderloin, so we're gonna fortify it with the fat. What were you calling it the other day? Larding?
Larding.
Okay, so what we're gonna do here is get this rolled over once. See how my dad overlapped each piece of the bacon? That's so when the bacon starts to shrivel up, when it starts to cook and render down the fat, it's not gonna be a bunch of separated pieces. We roll this up. Look at that, gorgeous. Now here's where it starts to get weird. It's gonna get weird, man. I'm gonna roll it back over this plastic wrap, Dad. And the idea behind this is the bacon's cool now, the tenderloin's cool, but I want it to get really cold because I want to make sure that that bacon adheres to the tenderloin. This is compelling. He is on the edge. Oh, he smiled a little bit there. All right, Dad.
I like this.
So you take this, you throw that in the fridge. I've got my cast iron skillet cranking. I'm dropping just a bit of oil just to kind of get things started. And what I'm gonna do is take it seam side down. That's where the bacon all kind of met. Drop it right in. Gonna sear both sides or all the way around it and then pop it in the oven, 375 degrees for, I don't know, say, till it's 125 degrees inside. Nice medium rare, let it rest a little bit. All right, Dad, look at this. The star of the show. Oh, beautiful. I know, don't kick the oven door with your foot. I know.
It's your door.
I know the rule.
You do it now.
So check this out now. What we've got here is the tenderloin wrapped in the bacon. We're gonna pull it out, medium rare, 125 degrees, but now we've got all this fat, all these drippings in the bottom of the pan. That's where all this big flavor is. So I'm gonna grab some shallots, a little bit of garlic, and a knife. Okay? We'll get the shallot in first. Let me position myself here. Dad, as soon as you think you got enough of those ready to go, you can go ahead and start dropping them in the oil. Okay? So a little bit of shallot. Peel off that skin. If you think that that's gonna be tough, just take it a little bit further. Don't put in that skin that's gonna be really tough. It'll never cook down the right way. Okay? Here we go. In the shallot, pan's not quite hot enough. We'll add a little bit more heat to it. Same thing with a little bit of garlic. But you should smell the flavor coming out of this pan. There we go, now it's starting to open up. Now this is what's gonna make this sauce really unique. Some peppercorns, some green peppercorns to be sure about that. So what's a green peppercorn? Well, it's a black peppercorn that didn't have a chance to turn into a black peppercorn because it's been brined. So we're gonna take some of these. You'll see that fat starting to work those shallots and the garlic, all that flavor on the bottom of the pan. So we'll get some of these peppercorns in there, let those start to open up. While that happens, a little whiskey. Where are you wandering to?
Wash my hands.
Good 3 sinks. Okay, this is all happened. Now this is the real key here. We're gonna deglaze the bottom of this. In with a little whiskey, a little Jack. See if that burns off. There we go. So a little bit of that dynamite sauce, the peppercorn sauce we made there. I'm gonna slide you out of the way. Grab a pair of tongs and look at this. We took this tenderloin, salt and pepper, wrapped it in bacon, cooked it in the cast iron first, just put a nice sear on it, then put it in the oven, 375 degrees.
and tell me that is not a beautiful medium rare to medium. And the bacon to go with it. There we are. Another one. Pops, you doing good?
Yeah, we're great.
Okay, so let me give you a little serving here. See that? Finish off the oven. You can almost guarantee to get the temperature you want. And then we finish it here with some of the green peppercorn sauce. Put a little beef stock in there to kind of carry it along so it wasn't all cream. You hiding these from me?
No, take it.
You were hiding them.
Take it.
All right, what do you think? Get a little bite, tell me what you think. Just cutting into it right now, I can tell you it is super tender.
All right, Guy Fieri here, and I'm gonna give it to you, folks. I'm gonna give you how to survive the weekday. You don't want chicken. You don't want to just have something quick, fast, and easy. You want something big, deep, and rich. Hey, maybe you want to cook pork butt on a Wednesday night. How are you gonna do it? The pressure cooker. We're actually gonna get into making one of my favorite dishes, one of the favorite dishes of the Fieri family, and that is pork chili verde. Let's talk about chili verde. So, throw some heat on that bad boy. Little bit of oil. Pork butt, boneless, been trimmed off. We're gonna cut it in about 1.5 inch cubes. Your butcher can do this for you if you want. But this is a boneless pork butt. Like I was saying, though, you could get into blade steaks, whatever kind of meat you have. But look at all that connective tissue. This is what we love about pulled pork. You know, pulled pork for like barbecue pulled pork sandwiches. And this that we're doing right here, let's say you don't want to take it into pork chili verde and you wanted to take a barbecue, real easy to do. Now, it's not gonna be the low and slow smoke style, but what it is going to do is really help you break this down, break all this connective tissue, and give you tons of flavor. Liberally seasoned with some salt. See how I'm doing that salt up high like this? I'm not doing this. It's so I get an even disbursement of the salt. Okay? Pan's hot, oil smoking a little bit. We'll go ahead and drop these in. Don't drop them. I was just going over this with Ryder the other day. Don't drop them from here. I know you don't want to burn yourself. See, I just drop it on the inside of the pan? Right like that. This is just about as much pork as you're gonna wanna do in this pressure cooker. We've got a lot of other ingredients we're gonna add into this, but there is a line. We can't go filling it right up to the top like this. We gotta stay about 2/3 in here. So this is just about the amount of pork that I'm gonna be able to put in here from this boneless pork butt, okay? Let me wash my hands. Okay, while that's browning, let's get into the rest of the game. See this beautiful baking rack that you have? We're gonna rack it. Yeah, you gotta have one that you rack, okay? So I'm gonna throw it right on here. I'm gonna take some of these beautiful tomatillos. If you haven't worked with tomatillos, you are missing it. One of my favorite. It's got a nice tang to it. Now it's raw here, so we're gonna roast it a little bit, which will help mellow it out. Hit a little bit of oil on it while I'm doing that. Poblanos and Anaheim. Give these guys a little touch of some oil, and we're just gonna give them a quick roast. Now I'd love to sit there and roast them on the open fire, but maybe it's that time of the year where we don't have the open fire going. We're just gonna do it right here. Look at that. That little blister right there is gonna add so much flavor. If you don't wanna do it this way, if you don't have the ventilation in the house, you wanna take that pan right there, go ahead, crank that oven to 500, take those, throw them on, little salt, little pepper, little olive oil, boom, give them a toss, throw them in the oven, let them go until they start blistering up like this. It will change the flavor dramatically. Now what I'm looking for in this pork, right there, okay? Nice caramelization. All that's working. I've got some hot water here. Grab some pasilla chilies. Every pepper that you saw in its fresh form had a form that, that ended up dried because you have them just growing in abundance. They got to do something with them. So we're gonna take the stem and the seeds out. I got a lot. Some hot water, and we're just gonna steep these here until they become nice and soft. So what is pork chili verde? Well, you get all this beautiful, big, chewy flavor and fat. Let me get some heat on that. Coming from the pork. And then we're gonna make this delicious sauce with these peppers and a little bit of white wine. Now, if we were going to be taking the skins off of these, we of course sweat them out, but we don't need to in this situation. The pepper, look at this, rehydrating itself. That's about done. Anaheim's done, done, done. We'll let everybody cool down for a second. Okay. We got all this great flavor that's been developed with the pork. I gotta get some onion in there, and I want it to get a chance to caramelize up. So I'm gonna take the pork out of there for a second. And these can be kind of rustic. When this thing goes under pressure and it gets as hot as it's going to get, what's going to take place is stuff is really going to start to break down. I mean, we'll hit it with immersion blender if necessary, but usually if you get your cuts kind of in the medium-sized dice, it's all just going to turn into the same sauce. Super hot, and the nice thing about pressure cookers, they usually have a pretty big, heavy bottom to them, so they don't burn real easy, and that's one of the things we do want to watch out for, because when we're rolling the heat, we want to make sure that all that pressure that's building isn't burning inside him, because there's no opening it up. Pork's done. Here we go. A lot of that residual fat left in there. Go in with the onions. Touch it with salt. Okay, just sweating those a little bit. I need to add a little bit more oil. Let's drop a little bit of garlic in. I like a lot of bit of garlic. I'm gonna give a rough chop on this. Don't go too fine with it. Remember, that thing is super hot and we haven't deglazed yet or anything, and we don't wanna burn the garlic. In with the onions. Everybody's getting ready to go in the pool here in a second. Those chiles that I was steeping in the hot water, just give those a rough chop. Stems and seeds are off. Okay. Now, let's say that you're starting to get a little hot right now and you're starting to burn inside of there. What would you do? Exactly, grab some of that steeping liquid and throw it right in there. It's all flavor, folks. Turn my heat down a little bit on that. All right, let's bring everybody over to the party. We'll drop the pork back in with the onions. We're gonna drop the tomatillos back in with their char, nothing we need to do to them. Again, we gotta watch that line. I want you to do that. I want you to pay attention. Most of these pressure cookers are gonna have a line in there and say, don't go above this, because what's gonna happen is it's gonna be boiling inside. So when it's boiling inside, oh, that's delicious. You want it boiling out over the top of the valve, okay? We want that char, all that big flavor. Take some of those seeds out. See how I did that little move there? They are hot right now. If you could let them rest a little bit, you'd probably save your fingertips. Ow. Okay, beautiful. Smokey, what are you doing over here? My companion, the boys are off doing something, dirt bikes or whatever, and so the only one I've got stuck in this kitchen with me is Smokey. Again, very similar to how we just handled that onion. Just make them in medium-sized, rough chop, and you'll be fine. And you want to talk about flavor. If you don't have a chance to roast those peppers off, don't worry about it, but I'm gonna tell you, it is a real foundation, real flavor builder. Everybody in the pool here. And I gotta go quick, because I can start to smell that we're running out of liquid. I can start to hear it. So what would you want to deglaze this with? A lot of options, a lot of things that I think it needs. Needs some acid for sure. Little white wine. Sauvignon Blanc is what I like to go with. Chardonnay gets to be a little too rich, a little too oaky, so forth. This is nice and clean and fresh and bright. If you don't like wine and you can't use it, that's fine. Just maybe a little more of the vinegar. We'll get some chicken stock. You have your own chicken stock, that'd even be better. There we go. And then just a touch of a little bit more acid, a little vinegar. Everybody's in the pool. Before we do that, let's hit the final seasoning. A little cumin, a little cumino. I'm heavy with the cumin. A little Mexican oregano. If you haven't got into a Mexican oregano, I want you to check it out. It's bigger and flakier. It's kind of like Sicilian oregano, and you'll see it. It's got this nice blossom to it. It's got a nice crunch. It's the oregano that I use in my house completely. I don't even use the other type. It just, you look at it, it just looks so pale in comparison. This Mexican oregano is the bomb. And a bay leaf. Did I hit any black pepper? Like you can go wrong with this, right? I want you to look at this. So you don't see that much liquid. We need to cover that with just about an inch of water or an inch of something. And we'll add just enough to the top of it, kind of like braising, just a little bit. We're gonna lock it. We're gonna turn it to 1. There's 2 different settings, and that's the different pressure. You need to read your pressure cooker and understand what pressures are at what setting. But the key is we're down. Now, it's gonna start to get hot, and then it's gonna start to make a noise. Don't be scared of the noise, but I want you to watch it that you're on full blast right now. As soon as you start to hear the noise, I want you to bring this over, and I want you to turn it down to about medium. And listen, does the noise stay consistent, or has it continued to build? Listen, a couple times with this, you're gonna be a pro. Don't worry about it. This is set it and forget it now. We come back, we are gonna have the bomb chili verde. See you in a bit. Ready for some pork chili verde? This pressure cooker's been running 35, 40 minutes. This is the greatest technique in the world. I'm gonna show you this little move. So I'm gonna turn off the heat. You can hear that hissing. That's a little bit of the pressure being released. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take this, turn off the heat, bring it over to the stove, or bring it over to the stove, release the valve. I'm releasing any steam that's in there, and I'm cooling down the pot, which is gonna slow down the boil, which is gonna release some of the pressure, which is not gonna be making any more pressure. And this stuff is so hot inside of here, boiling above the normal boiling temperature, 212. Release this, pop it off, and you can see that I'm still boiling right there. Now, if I find that when I grab this, the meat's not done, I can easily put the lid back on and get it going for another 15 minutes and bring it up to temperature really fast. While this has all been working, by the way, I've got some tortillas going. This is how you really do tortillas the right way. Ah, that's hot. Here we go, nice little char to them. Let's check that pork. Remember, all the peppers that are in there, the tomatillos, the garlic, the onions, and look at that, if that's not tender, that's hot. Oh, good. Oh my gosh. Tender, tangy, rich, a little bit of salt, a little bit of acid. Put those off to the side. Slotted spoon. What I want to do now is bring this over, get some of the pork out. I've got all this liquid inside. I'm going to thicken that up in just a second, but I don't want to try to stir in that masa like we make the tortillas with all of these big pieces of pork in there. It'll be too hard to get it to mix up, and then we'll get clumpy, like almost like dumplings inside of there. Good. Back on some heat. There's a whisk, a little masa. Okay, and just slowly stir this in. And remember what happens as soon as that masa hits in there, it's gonna start to thicken up. Doesn't react as fast as just a regular flour would. There we go. Just adds a little body to it, because it was a little, you saw how thin it was? And we don't want it to be a chowder. Looking good. Oh, beautiful. Now you see how it has a little bit more body to it? And here's the great thing about this. What we don't eat, we'll take and make enchiladas. Freezes really good. You've got that whole pork butt you just worked with. This is so, I don't want to say durable. This has so much body to it and so much strength to the dish that you could freeze this. You could add beans to it, make it into a chili. I mean, there's just so many different directions. We put this over pasta. Now we get into it with some of my favorites. A little cotija cheese on top. Little cilantro, some green onions. Everybody likes a little crunchy factor to it. Fried tortilla strips. Give it a kiss of some fresh lime juice. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not kidding you. When we talked about doing this and sending you some recipes that you can really grab right now at the store, bring home, knock it out, 15 minutes in a pot, 30 to 45 minutes later, and in an hour's time, you're serving this for your family. That's what this whole thing is about, right? We take this, we load it up. That doesn't look good at all, does it? Yeah, right. There's no way you can cook a pork butt down. There's no way you can cook a pork butt down that fast and that much flavor without using that pressure cooker. I hope you guys go and try this. You're gonna love this recipe, okay? Take care, adios.